Hello. Thank you for coming and joining me in my craft room this evening. It's been a very busy day and I've just got home from one of the Christmas craft fairs that you get at the schools. So I thought, well, you know what, I better go. Do you know, it was lovely. It really was lovely. And I've got a pile of stuff downstairs that I got. I think one of them will be a Christmas present, and you think, yeah, who can I get this for? And you feel like you need to support everybody, don't you? Well, I do. It's a bit crazy, really, isn't it? But I got one or two nice things, and I'm just trying to think if I got anything for John. But I did get him a dime bar when I got my petrol, or my diesel. I did get him a dime bar. I'm not sure he likes dime bars, so we'll have a look, see. He's put it in the fridge. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't eat chocolate so well out of the fridge. I like it kind of room temperature, and I think with a dime bar it could, you know, break the dentures or the teeth, depending. Anyway, so I thought I'd do a couple of things, and I haven't spoken to you for ages, have I? Because I had the very busy week at Craftiganza. I was there nearly a week because I had to stop off at HQ for things, and so it's been a busy week. Had to do some filming. Had to do some filming today actually. So I've still got all the lights set up around me, and it's really quite nice to have the lights. The overhead lights tend to flicker a little bit, I think, on Facebook Live. So we've cut the overhead lights out. So the main thing is I want to talk to you about tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm on Hochanda. It seems ages since I've been there as well, and it's kind of, it does feel like home from home sometimes. It's lovely to sort of go and see all the lovely girls and boys, I was going to say, and it sounds a bit patronising, but they are just absolutely super. It's just an absolute joy when I go there and see them all. And it is work. Obviously, it's work. I don't have any choice. I have to go. But it's just an absolute joy to see everybody. I'm just trying to see if I'm actually on Facebook. So here we go. So that's better. So yes, so to see everybody is lovely, and of course I get to see the people backstage as well. You know, the buyers and the people that do the marketing and all that sort of thing. So it's one big happy family really, and yeah, I kind of look forward to it. They're just it's a lovely group of people there, and they certainly look after us demonstrators, which is sometimes we need a bit of looking after. We're let us loose and it's just, mayhem. So I just thought I'd remind you that I'm there tomorrow, 10 and 3. So that's going to be fun, and I think I'm with Dave both hours, unless he's changed. He might have got wind of me coming here to Hochanda, and he might have changed it. I doubt it, but we get on very well, as you know, so that's going to be fun. And so I'm there actually with the new fabric kits. Now, all of the fabric kits are at Hochanda, all the made up samples, but I had to do a little bit of filming today, and I had to make one of them up. So I'll show you those first, and then you know what, I'm going to crack on, because we've got a bit of a stitch along. I don't know about stitch along because don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to show you how to make the secret storage hanger, which is actually really lovely, and there's no credit to me whatsoever. A lovely lady called Diane Callahan actually came up with the design, so from that inspiration I pass to you. So the one of the bags that I've got tomorrow is called the wristlet clutch bag. Be very careful how you say that. So this is like a little wristlet bag that you can pop over your wrist like that. Has a little tab there, so you can hold on to that while you open it up, and then it's fully lined inside, and it is one of our fabric kits, so you know that everything is going to be printed. It's really sweet, isn't it? And such an easy bag to make, truly. I don't want any of you to think this is going to be complicated, and I tell you what, if you've got a friend who started sewing, this is such a good bag to start off with, because first of all it's really easy. I promise you it's really easy. You've got to put the zip in, but we're going to do that tonight, so you'll see how to put that zip in. I've made a video how to make the bag up from start to finish, and that should be on the website probably tomorrow. We were a bit close to the deadline today, I have to be honest, so hopefully tomorrow, if it's approved, they might come back and say it's rubbish, mightn't they? I can't do it again. They'll have to put up with rubbish. I don't think it is rubbish, but anyway. So that'll be on the website tomorrow, and the same with the other one. So this is the box for that, and hopefully you can see that quite clearly, and you can see on the back how that looks. And, you might want to zoom in later when we've downloaded this. But it's a really nice, easy make, and actually it's a really good gift as well. In my opinion, that would make a terrific gift. The other one, which I don't have a sample of because they're all made up and they're all at a Chanda, is the boutique purse, which it looks like that. Now you may have seen that, I think it was on the So Inspiring page. Oh, somebody's saying my sound is not right. Well, I can see the bits and bobs going up and down to say I can hear. So I'm going to keep, I wonder if I need to switch something up on my iPad. Just one moment. Let's have a little look-see. Let's try. Right, so I've switched the sound up. Can you hear me? So, and I'm a bit quiet today anyway. Normally I'm a bit shouty, but I'm a bit quiet today because I'm tired. I've had a long day. So let me know. I'm going to keep... Dawn says, neither can I. So I've just done the sound, so I'll keep an eye on this because you know that the sound is, well, everything is a couple of minutes behind. So I'll keep an eye on the comments. Leslie says, I can hear you okay here. Maybe you got me switched up loud, Leslie. Or maybe it's because I've switched that up loud. If I speak like that. Sorry, everybody. This is the trouble with these sort of things, isn't it? We never know what's going to happen. So look, that's the boutique purse. So that's tomorrow as well. That's really lovely as well. And it's a little different in as much it's got a fat bottom, ladies. We like a fat bottom, and it's a nice size. And you can add a handle if you want, or I think a chain would be nice with that. So let me just have a look here. Jackie says, bit louder, please, Judith. Turn your own volume up, Judith. See how you get on. I can't turn mine up anymore. The only thing I can do is move this up. I tell you what, I'll move this, perhaps because I'm talking that way and it's the gubbins is down here. So I'll move this up. So you'll have to put up with seeing new technology. So that might be better. Let me know. Because I don't want you to miss anything. I'll move my coffee. And hopefully, I'll wait and see. I can hear you, but when you bent over to your iPad, I could hear you better. You see, that's my iPad here. That was Martha. So I've moved it now. Can everybody hear me? This, you never know, do you? I mean, I don't have a fancy microphone. I have to rely on my iPad. So we'll see how we get on. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine now. Let's have a look. Rosemary, that's better, thank you. Dawn, that's better, thank you. Lizzie, well, that's good. Because you don't want to miss a trick, do you? Right, now let's crack on, because otherwise we're never going to get this done. Did you see the picture that I posted on the actual, the event? So it's this. Now I put a cardie over it. It's a bit loud, but that's what we're making. And the thing is, you can either have it so you put your clothes over the top of it, or just one moment, you can have your coat hanger like this. Let me just take my cardie off. It's a sort of a summer cardie. This looks nice with white jeans. If I could ever get into my white jeans again, you can have a look-see. So you could actually then turn that around and hang it from there. So hold on. Do you see how that could work? So I'd much prefer to have it around there like that. So we'll get rid of that. So this is it. And do you know what? I thought this was such a useful thing to have. Now I haven't top stitched the top there, and I'm going to talk you through all of that. But I think this is going to be down to you guys whether you would want to take the coat hanger out or not. If you didn't mind losing the coat hanger, let's say, I would then just stitch that across the top there. And you'll see as I go along what I'm talking about. So this is it. So you have a pocket at the front. So that opens up like that. So there's a pocket there. So you could put your credit cards in there or something smaller, or perhaps even jewellery. And do you know what? If you face it so it's that away, nobody would ever know that there was a pocket. So there's a pocket at the front. And how we put the zips in is so easy. And then there's a pocket at the bottom. Now, this obviously goes right... Oh, I've caught my lining. This obviously goes right up to the top. Hold on, let's see if I can... I'm catching my lining, but that's okay. So you can see, look, it goes right up to the top. But I think you could put bigger things in there, maybe insurance documents, maybe your passport, something like that. If it's something that you want to hide away... I don't know what that might be for you guys, but I think that's really useful. So that pocket there is all the way up. It's a bit like a tea cosy, isn't it? So that's all the way up. I'm just making sure you can hear me. Yes, you can hear me now. I was a bit quiet at the beginning. I was a bit quiet anyway because I was a bit tired today. So there we are. So that's it. So that's the fabric. That's what it looks like. I think it's really pretty, don't you? And obviously you don't have to have pretty fabric. If you want it to blend in, I would choose a dark, a brown or a navy blue or a black, something like that, and then it's not obvious. So how do we make it? Right, so let's just crack on. Let's just put that over there. So I've cut out all my bits ready so we don't dilly-dally. But the first thing you need to do, obviously, is to find yourself a coat hanger that you'd want to use. And this one has a bar across, so don't forget that this bar will be inside that big pocket. So it may not be useful, it may be useful, I don't know, but consider what you're using. So to be honest, you could put anything either side of it, can't you? I don't think that's going to get in the way very much. So that's... And I would say, well, it's entirely up to you, but I wouldn't go any bigger than that. Perhaps even a child's coat hanger would be quite a good idea because it would just hang nicely in the wardrobe, that's all. So the first thing you're going to do is get yourself a nice big piece of paper. Now, I'm lucky I've got a piece of A3, but what you could do is get a couple of bits of A4 and sellotape them down the middle to join them, so you've got a nice big piece. And I'm hoping you're going to see all of this. Let me get this one out of the way. So all I did was I put my coat hanger in the middle, and this is on the skew a little bit, but so I put the middle of my coat hanger on the fold here. I'm just going to check and see if you're seeing what I'm seeing. So that's the edge there. Yes, you can see that. So all I did was, in fact, I'll bring it up a little bit, was literally about 1/4 of an inch, bit more maybe, centimetre, let's say. I drew very roughly around my coat hanger, and I got, I'm a bit wiggly, so you have to excuse that. So I got to about there. I hope you can see that. If not, I'll hold it up in a sec. And that is half the shape of my coat hanger. So all I did then was I got my ruler, and I will show you. I just took it right down to the bottom. Now I haven't measured this, but I could tell you from top to bottom it's approximately 11 and a half, sorry, I beg your pardon, nearly 11 inches, but I'm kind of thinking that's about the sort of size I want. If you want to extend it, then obviously you can extend it. When it comes to the top here, I just literally went straight across. So look, I'll hold that up, so hopefully you can see that. And that's the sort of shape that you need. So I was thinking about doing a pattern, then I thought, well, you know what, you might want to do a bigger one, a smaller one, and this coat hanger that I'm using is quite a specific one, you know. So I would say just follow what I'm doing, and you won't be far off. So you're just cutting your paper pattern out, and you'll end up with that sort of shape, okay? And then the only thing that I've been quite specific about is the pocket. So with the pocket, I like 4.5 inches. It seems to work. So I've folded my paper in half again, and so that's the fold here, and that's the fold here. So I'll just pop that. In fact, let me do it that way around. I'm not thinking. So I'm popping that over the top, and then I'm just going to measure 4.5 inches all the way across. Well, if you haven't got a ruler, you know, tape measure is fine, as long as you've got roughly that. Nobody's going to come and tell you you're wrong. And then, so I've got my line there, do you see? And it will overhang a little bit, because we did chop a little piece off before, didn't we, if you remember? And then, if we just cut along there, and if you want a deeper pocket, to make a deeper pocket, because this is all about what you've got, you know, what coat hangers you've got, and you might have a wire one that you'd like to use, because they're pretty useless most of the time, aren't they, wire ones? And they make your fabrics, they dent your fabrics, don't they, on your shoulders. Now, the other thing I was going to say was, if you've got something delicate, like a nice jumper, this is actually, because I've used wadding, it's quite padded. So it's almost like you've made your own padded coat hanger. So it's actually quite nice to put your jumpers on there, and actually, you know, you're not going to get, like, if you did a wire coat hanger, you'd end up with dents, wouldn't you? Well, you won't with this. So again, that's quite useful, I thought, anyway. So look, there's your pocket. So if you remember, we cut it on the fold, 4.5 inches in the depth, and literally that's it. Okay, simple as that. So that goes all the way across the front of your storage. Okay, now you'll need 2 outer, 2 wadding, 2 lining. Okay, with your pocket you need 1 outer, 1 wadding and 1 lining, and that's it. So once you've cut that, you're ready to go. You obviously need some zippage. So if you're going to buy zips, obviously you want to measure across, and I would always get an extra inch or so, because then you've got a little bit to play with, haven't you? That's just my opinion. But if you've got zip on a roll, then it's great, isn't it? So I've chosen one that kind of matches, and do you know what? That's not like me. I would normally go with something that clashes. In fact, it matches me top, I just realised. So all I'm going to do, just to set us off, is I'm going to cut a bit of my zip on the roll. I'll give that a little cut there. And then I need another one for the bottom of the storage. So we'll just move our zips along. I tell you what would be nice. You know, Sarah's zips that she had in her So Lovely range, because they're nice and chunky. And they just look a bit different, don't they? So there we are. So that's our zippage sorted. I'll pop that out of the way. So I might change camera. You'll have to let me know. I've only got the 2. I've got one coming from the side, and hopefully you'll see quite a bit there. I'll change it so you can see. So hopefully you'll see my hands and you'll see what I'm doing. So and I'll flick from you know, the front to the side and all that sort of thing. So the first thing you want to do is to actually stitch your pieces of your pocket together. So we're going to do, we've got the wadding. In fact, I'll get my stick and spray and pop your wadding on on the back of your outer fabric. So this is obviously my outer fabric, and I've just got white for my lining. So let's just stick and spray that. Now you know this is only temporary, but hopefully if I've cut it correctly, that'll all go into the seams, and I shan't worry too much. Let's have a look. Probably could do with a trim just to keep it neat. I find wadding is a funny old thing. You cut it to size and then it sort of grows. It kind of stretches, and I suppose that's because as we put it down, we sort of flatten it out, and it kind of grows. So I'll just give that a little trim. Oh, so is everybody all right tonight? I was just saying as I started, and perhaps you couldn't hear me, I went to the school fair tonight. You know, sometimes we have to do these things, don't we? We must support all our lovely children and the schools and everything. So what we're going to do is right sides to right side, so that you won't be able to see, but there is actually a pattern on this. I'll see if I can hold it up to the camera. Oh yes, you can see that. So my pattern is going down, and so all we're going to do is stitch right along the top there. Okay, just one line right across the top. Let's have a look. Margaret, hello, and Helen, that's lovely to see you. It's nice to have a bit of company. Got John's watching the football downstairs, so he's all right. So we're going to stitch from there to there, okay? I'll just move my mouse and bring the beast in. Of course, a heavy old beastie as well. So I've got my 1/4 inch foot on, but you know what? This is entirely up to you whether you use the 1/4 inch foot. Just got to make sure I've got my zipper foot somewhere. Yes. So hold on, I've got my foot control sorted. Here we go. So I would do a little back stitch just to hold, and I'm not going to press anything because it'll just waste quite a bit of time. So you're going all the way across, and what you might want to do is use, if you've got a walking foot, use your walking foot. I have to say, let me just come to the front here. I have to say it makes such a difference using the walking foot. It keeps those two layers in place. I mean, you've glued the wadding, so that should be fine. But it's just lovely to have that walking foot on there. So look, there we are. So that's my top seam done, and I will try to be neat as I go along. There we go. So what you're going to do, you're going to press this so it's so crisp. So just get your iron in there. I'm just going to sort of finger press it. Have you got one of those, I've got like a wooden roller, it's back of the workroom somewhere. And that's good. The heat of the wood and the friction really does open up your seams and flatten them. It's a good thing to have in your stash, actually. So you're just going to press that nicely. What I could do is there seem to be a lot of pins missing. I'm just going to pin that so it's fairly decent. I'm quite excited about these, I have to say, because I think you could make these as gifts. Do you not think? And when I was at the craft fair this evening, well, it was a Christmas fair, not a craft fair. Oh, there it is. I bought some lavender, and it's like a sachet of lavender. A lady was selling it for £2, and it's supposed to keep moths away. Not that I have any problems with moths, but it would make whatever you're hanging on your storage smell. Oh, now that is lovely. It'll smell lovely, and it was only £2, so I thought, oh well, we'll have some of that. I keep meaning to get some of Alistair's because he's got really super French lavender. But then living near Norfolk, of course, I shouldn't be using Norfolk lavender. Now I've pinned that really well because I haven't pressed it. So the next thing you're going to do is get one of your zips, and you're going to top stitch that zip on there. I'm going to bring you to the other camera so you can see. So look, let me just bring that back. So look, you can see that I've pinned mine. Now, if you've pressed yours, do you know what? I really wouldn't bother pinning it because you've pressed it, that'll absolutely stay solid. But what we're going to do is pop the zip on, and we're going to top stitch it on. So you'll be able to see exactly where you're going. And I have to say, it's a lot easier. If you've cut enough zippage, you could actually move that zip right out of the way at either end, so it's not in your way, but we'll just move it as we go along. So I'm just going to put my zipper foot on now, and I'm going to do a top stitch, probably about 1/8 of an inch, I'll show you when I'm done, all the way along, and that will attach this pocket to the zip. All right, so I'll change my foot, and I'll put my zipper foot on. Let's have a look. Oh, Mary. Hi, Mary. Now, Mary, if you look at the comments, Mary Hunter lives in Canada, and it was her lovely, lovely daughter that I met at Craftaganza last week, Colleen. And Colleen put lots and lots of pictures on Facebook about with all the ladies crafting away. Oh gosh, we had an absolute ball. So thank you, Mary, for joining in. Are you still home alone? Is Colleen home yet? Or are you still home alone? I think she was missing Colleen. We do, don't we, when people go away? We don't mind them going away, but we want them to come back straight away, especially if it's sunny and they're having a nice time. So look, so what I've done is, and I'm going to just, I wonder which is the best way for you to see this. I'm gonna go fully frontal with you, and then I'll show you what I've done. So I'm literally just top stitching that zip. Top stitching the pocket onto the zip. All right, so I think that's possible. I'm just checking the monitor because I do want to make sure that you see this, but sometimes you can't show everything, can you? But a little bit of top stitching. Come on, get on with it, listen. So, your edge will be super crisp if you've pressed it. And I'm from a dressmaking background through and through. And that is so the rules of dressmaking, is to press everything within an inch of its life. I suppose you're steaming everything, aren't you? Putting everything in its place. You know, when you do a dart, you'd have to steam it to make sure it was exactly where you wanted it to be. So look, I've just come to a point, and I could move my zipper slider. I don't know if you can see, guys, but and let me just move this. I'm not sure if you'll see it there either, but I'm just going to move my zipper slider out of the way. Do you see? It's just there. Now, normally I have all my lights darkened, but you're seeing a glare. But look, so it's, you know what the score is. You're lifting up your needle. You're putting your needle in. You're lifting up your presser foot, and then you're just skedaddling that zip out of the way. And that's how we deal with that. It's not too difficult. It's just one of those things that you've just got to get used to doing, I suppose. The alternative, of course, is to cut a longer zip and then you just slide it off the end. Now I'm just showing a little bit of my lining. That won't happen to you if you've pressed it, okay? That's why I say about pressing. It does make a difference. Right, here we go. Come on, let's get this done. You think I've got a date, but as John's watching the football, I'll just stay up here with you guys, just for a little while anyway. So look, we've put the zip on. Let me bring the camera to here, and so you'll be able to see what that looks like if I bring that right close in. Can you see what we've done? We've just top stitched that zip right next to the edge there, and it makes a really lovely finish. So again, give that a nice good press. It's almost like you're setting the seam every time. Now at this stage, not those scissors, at this stage I'm just going to trim my ends, but I'm only going to trim it. It'll still have a little bit sticking out, but I'm just kind of trying to keep everything neat. So the next thing you want to do, I hope you're following this okay, is to put it onto the front of the storage. So we'll just take all these pins out because that's what's keeping everything together. Now it doesn't matter which one you choose, so we'll just pick the top one. And I need a piece of wadding. So there we go, and I'll just pop that over there. So we'll spray the wadding again. That just keeps everything in place. And then we'll pop the fabric down. And it's super, super sticky. It's great using stick and spray, it really is. If you haven't tried it yet, give it a go, because it does really keep everything in place. So it's not too bad. There we go, just move that across. So what you're doing now, and I'll turn this around so you can see it. So that's the front, and there's my pocket. So that's just going to be placed over there, okay? So obviously we need to pop that zip in as well. Now, a couple of things you can do here. You could just stitch that as it is. So if I hold that up, you can just stitch it down as it is. Hopefully you'll see that okay. But that, I'm not sure that looks very neat. So I like to actually flip this over and stitch it so you can't really see it. So hopefully you'll follow this. So just get it so your edges at the bottom meet. And this is that moment when you hope that you've got everything lined up. If you haven't, it doesn't matter. We can always trim it. So with a pin handy, I'm just going to kind of mark where my zip is. And then all I'm going to do is flip that over. Did you see what I did? So I've just flipped it over, and hopefully my zip is around about where I want it to be. Okay, and I'm going to pin that in place. I'm just going to shove that along a bit and pin it in place. So we're kind of working on the wrong side of the zip. So this is where you need to kind of look, measure it if you're not sure. But I'm kind of, look, I've got a leaf pattern here, and I'm following my leaf pattern all the way along. Let me switch to this one. So look, if you look at this, you can see that I've got this leaf pattern, and it's every half leaf it should be straight. So all I'm doing is pinning this in place, so as we stitch along it doesn't wriggle. Well, that's the theory. And even when we get to the zip pull, which is just here, I'll get to that point and then I can move it back. So I'm just checking. Oh, that lining didn't look right, but it's okay. It's not that it matters, because we're not really going to see it. So what you need to do now is actually now stitch from there all the way along there. So we'll start up this end, seeing as how my zipper foot is that way, and we'll just come all the way along, and when we get to this bit we'll move it. All right, so I'll just switch you back to the front again. Now, can everybody hear me? I think we're all right now, aren't we? So I'll just my computer wants to do an update. It's like, not now. Oh, Colleen is around. Are you checking up on Mum? She's watching. She's fine. She hasn't done anything naughty in the house. Well, she hasn't had a wild party that I'm aware of. Mary, don't tell her what happened. No, nothing happened, Colleen. I'm going to get her into trouble in a minute. So now this is where you're not going to see the zip teeth, all right? But zipper foot are really clever. They kind of know where the zip is, and it won't allow you to cross over unless you're going crazy. So, but just take your time. Now I've got a zipper foot. Even doesn't matter how much your machines are. I promise you, if you haven't got a wide bottom zipper foot, sometimes it doesn't grab because there's not enough under the presser foot to grab the fabric. And on this particular machine, the foot for the zip is tiny. Whereas if I was to use the stitch, the zipper footies have got a nice wide flat bottom, and that grabs the fabric. It does make a difference, trust me. But we'll stick to this. I'm just going to up my stitch length a bit. So here we go. I'm just going to follow all the way along, and hopefully we're going to be thereabouts. We'll see. But it will give you an idea, won't it? And then you can take your time. I tell you what, the fun bit is choosing your fabrics, deciding what you're going to make this out of. And then when we get to about here, I'm just going to slide this past. There we go. Pop it down again. Just kind of line it up. I think we'll be all right. I think we can get by. Now I haven't used a concealed zip. You could. So it's up to you. But like I said, I think Sarah's would be nice. So there we go. Let's move the beast. Ooh. You know, I've pulled a muscle in my shoulder, and I swear it's that machine that does it to me. It does it all the time. Right, so here we go. So I'm not going to slide that off because I haven't stitched that yet, and the slider would go right off the edge. So I'm just going to bring it up to this camera so you can see it. So there we are. So there, let me do it so you can see how we're getting on here. So that's the end with the slider. And you see, and just coming all the way along. And that really does not a nice neat finish. And if I was to open up the pocket, you know what? That's not bad at all, is it? I think we'll cope with that. So that's created the pocket. Like I say, don't put that slider anywhere near the end just yet. And then this is where it's possible, it's not brilliant, I have to say, where your edges meet up or not. And I think, you know, if I just bring that up a little bit, I think we're okay. So I'm just going to pin it just for the time being. And like I said, one of the other things I found was finishing off this bit here. Now with the one I made, which is this, I haven't finished this off yet. I can't decide what to do. But I think what I might do is just bring those two edges together, do you see, and just top stitch that. I think I'm all right with that actually. But if you wanted to take the coat hanger out, you'd want to keep that opening, so you could hand stitch that. I would just slip stitch everything inside. And this would be now a good time to actually turn this over and top stitch it so it's all nice and neat. But we'll just leave things as they are. So the next thing we want to do is actually put the zip in on the two bottom pieces. If I could possibly think for a minute what I'm doing, I need just to prepare my fabric for the back of the bag, or the storage. Could be a bag. Well, the thing is, the reason why I said that is because it's very much like making a bag. So I'm going to pop you to the front again, so just so it's friendly. So always spray your wadding, not the fabric, even though you'd be tempted to, because I know sometimes I have to stop and think. So spray your wadding and pop that down. That's not bad. See, it's spread again. It's something magical. It's a bit like a mushroom, isn't it? If you cut it to the right size, then it kind of expands, doesn't it? Like, well, you know, those magic mushrooms. Oh, that sounds a bit bad. Well, no, it's the... What is it when you have... Is it the magic trees or something that grow? Not magic mushrooms. Oh, that's a whole new thing. A whole different thing altogether. Oh, gosh. I'll get myself into trouble. John will come up the stairs. What are you talking about magic mushrooms for? I didn't mean to. Those ones that you... Is it this tree, isn't it? Isn't it a tree that you... I think I better stop this conversation. It's getting a bit mad. Right. We've got to put the zip in. So, let's do the back first. I don't know which to do first. We'll do the back. We've got the lining here. So, you know with zips, here we go. let's do one at a time, because we need to get this right, and so you understand as well. Have the zip facing you. So the right side of the zip is facing me, all right? There's the zip pull. So I've got the right side facing me, and you want the right side of the fabric facing down on that, all right? So we're going to flip that over, and we're going to just pop it over the top, all right? And ideally, this is when, if you've got any quilting clips, oh, here we go. I've got a couple over here. Quilting clips are good for this rather than pins. Well, I just find it that way anyway. And just clip that just in a couple of places, all right? And maybe one in the middle for the moment. And then you want the right side of your lining. So we've just got to check this. Yeah, that's the right side. So the right side of your lining you want facing you, and you're popping the whole lot back down again. Now what this means is, if I was to open this up, what you've got is the right side of the fabric facing the right side of your outer fabric. Okay, right sides together. But you just need to remember that little sandwich, and we'll do it again in a minute. So now I would clip all those 3 layers together. So the layer you've got is the outside fabric with the wadding, the zip, I'm making a zip sandwich, and the lining. Okay, so we've sandwiched that all together, and again with the zipper foot I'm just going to run along there and pop that in. When I get to the slider I'll just move it again, and then we'll do the other side. Got to be careful how I handle this thing, because it switches itself off if I'm not careful. So I'm going to go, well, yes, I'm going to go down this side. So I need to move my needle across. It's worth looking. If on your machines you might think you can't move your needle, you might not need to, but try. You know when the stitch width, where you for the zigzag, the stitch width. Try moving that to the right and to the left, and see if your needle moves on a straight stitch, because some machines will do that, okay, which is quite handy. So look, I'm just going across. Now I can't see the zip, but my zipper foot knows where it is, and I'm not panicking. I'm doing it, I suppose it's perhaps not quite a centimetre, but assuming I've clipped everything in place, all the layers will be fine, all the layers will be there. So, and if not, just keep checking it if you're not sure. So now I just need to move my little slider, so just get inside your sandwich and just move that along. What have I got sticking up? Oh, it was stuck to my light. There we go. So just move it along. I wish they'd make a zipper foot like a walking foot. That would be good. Okay, come on, let's get this done. So again, all the way along. There we go. Because like anything, fabric moves, but you know what? Just trim it down. It's fine. So when I'll just move that a little bit. I might show you on the other view. So when we look at it now, you can see that zip is sandwiched in there. Let's just bring it together. So the zip is sandwiched in between. So one side you've got the main fabric, and the other side you've got your lining, and it's all attached. So the next stage, I'll just move you back again, is to do the same, but on the other side, okay? And again, I would probably press all this in between because it keeps it nice and neat. So again, I've got the right side of the zip facing me. Oh, I've got some creases with the wadding there. There we go. So I've got the right side of the zip facing me. So I need to put the right side of my main fabric over the top of that, okay? So we're getting quite a sandwich now, especially with the pocket in there. I'm going to take the pins out, and I'm going to replace it with my quilting clips. Now this is where I would get the sides pretty much, they're meeting up. So I'm bringing this right over. I might have to adjust the other side slightly. And then we're going to just make that zip sandwich again. So again, I'll take the pins out and replace it with a clip. There we go. So that, I might just, that's it, give it a little wriggle. So if you remember, all I've done, right side facing me, so the other side, and then the right side of the outer fabric on top. So then, can you remember what we did with the lining? Right side facing us again. So when we look at the bag, when we look at the inside of the bag, which is actually this part, the right side of the fabric, the lining will be facing up. It's one of those things that once you've done it a few times, it kind of becomes second nature. So you mustn't worry about it. Just keep checking, and maybe tack it. Maybe, you know, not very often you see me tacking anything, but you know, if you feel that you need to tack it, then jolly well tack it, and that way you won't get yourself into bother. You don't want to unpick anything, do you? If you can help it. So look, what we've done now is sandwiched all those layers together, and I might go that side. So it's not so much. No, I don't. Yes, I'm going to have that side. Not so much bulk. That's what I was trying to say. So let's just get rid of some of this stuff. We're nearly done. You know, that's really surprising, and it's the truth. We're nearly done. Oh, see, I've touched that. I see. I shouldn't touch stuff. There we go. It's a beast. It's got a mind of its own. So now, look, I'm going to now come down the other side of the zip with all those layers. Trust me, it'll be fine. So again, just watch everything. Do yourself a back stitch just to hold. I have to say, zipper foots are jolly useful because they hold all the layers together, but a nice big flat bottom one is what you need if you can get hold of one. Depends. This machine, you can't change them, so it's a bit of a shame really. Right, so let's just make sure all our layers are sitting nicely and playing nicely. Another thing you could do, that's a good idea, is put your stitch length on the longest setting. So I don't know what it is on my machine. So it's almost you're doing a tacking stitch, and tack it first, because that's much easier to unpick and sort of undo rather than a small stitch. Now the reason why I'm pulling this, you'll see I'm pulling this, there's always a reason why I do stuff, is because there's so many layers. I'm just coming to my zip pull. You know, when we use the walking foot, you don't get any of that because obviously the walking foot, it moves the fabric, both fabrics at the same time. And when you've got all these layers, sometimes the top layers, they shift. So the reason why I'm pulling it is to make sure that it all goes at the same pace, if you like, the same speed. I don't know if that makes sense. So here we go. So hopefully we've caught all that. And the other thing is, if you feel that you haven't gone close enough to the zip, to be honest, I never get too anxious about stuff like that. But if you feel you want to go closer, then do a second row and come in a wee bit closer. So there we are. So we've got all sorts of bits and pieces going on here. So there's our zip. It's there somewhere. Okay. So we've got the two outer pieces because we've got there's the pocket there. That's the zip we've just put in. And if we flip it over, oh, I was right then for a minute. Here we go. We've got the lining. Can you see how lovely that looks? Really super. Does make a good job. So what we need to do now is stitch it all together. Now, what I'm going to say is this. I'm going to leave the gaps. So let me turn it so you can see it. I'm going to switch to the other camera just for a minute. So I'm going to leave, it's almost like the chimney stack, isn't it? I'm going to leave that open because that's where we're going to put our coat hanger through. And I'm going to stitch it like now this is a bag, okay? So I'm going to bring my outer pieces together, right sides together, yeah? So we're right sides together with that. And my lining pieces, if I flip this over, again, I'm going to do right sides together with my lining pieces. So just like you would if you were making a bag. I would still leave a gap for turning because that is not big enough to turn through. Gosh, you'd have a right old struggle. So I would leave a gap like we normally do, so sort of about there and there. It's a good 4 inches because this is quite a bulky thing. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stitch all the way around to here and stop. Come to over here and then stitch all the way around. Stop here, chimney. I'm going to leave that open and come all the way around back to here again. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. So we'll come back to the front. You might want to think about how you're going to do this zip. I just tend to sort of squidge it together. I don't worry too much about things like that. You know what, if you're a professional zipper-innerer, putter-innerer, then you go ahead and do whatever is good for you. But there's things in life that we can worry about and things in life that we don't need to worry about, and putting zips in is one of those. Gosh, I think sometimes I just want to be grateful that we've done the zip. So look, I'm going to start, it's definitely a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so I'm going to start right at the top. When I get, well, I'll see how we go. I might go a little bit of a wider seam when I get to the zip because it needs to be strong, doesn't it? So all the way around. Now if you can't hear me, because that machine will interrupt perhaps my speech, I will speak, so I apologise if you can't hear. It's a fairly quiet machine, so we should be okay. Oh, don't forget to open your zip. Oh, I nearly forgot. So it's just like a bag. That would have been fun. So we're going all the way around. You can stop at the corners and turn if you want. I kind of just sort of go for it, cross my fingers, see how we get on. Now this is quite bulky here, so watch your machines, okay? Don't force it. Hand crank if you think it's going to be tough, okay? If you go over there like a bat out of you know what, you could end up breaking a needle. You wouldn't damage the machine, but you'd be a bit cross, wouldn't you? Because you'd have to change your needle. So just take your time and go all the way around the corners, Formula 1 style. There we go. So all the way up to the top. And don't forget, we're not stitching that top bit, are we? So I'll just jump across. I suppose I should break my threads, it'll save me a bit of time in a minute. Down the other side. Because my wadding is a wee bit bigger than my fabric, I'm just watching my layers. If I don't catch the layers as I'm going round, I'll soon see when I turn it through, and I can always go back and go over that bit. So again, we're just coming to the pocket zip now, and just give it a little help, go slowly. Most machines should, I'm just seeing which way I did my zip on that side, so we'll keep them the same. Most machines would cope, but still be careful because, like I say, there's quite a lot of thickness when you think how many layers you've got going on. So just take your time. So here we go, home and straight. Down the corner. Whee! Oh! A bit of fast stitching. I love a bit of fast stitching. That's it. Right. Hopefully I've caught everything. We'll have a quick whiz. quick little scan of things. Oh yeah, that's one a bit. That'll be all right. Just checking. So, what you could do is snip into your corners if you want. Do you know what? They're such what's the word? Sort of quite. They're not tight curves. They're quite rounded curves, so I shouldn't worry too much. You could get your pinking shears on it anyway. That always is nice. So we'll just cut the zips off now, just because everything is safe. The zip slider's not going to slide off anymore. You could take these seams down a little bit. So now we're ready to turn through. Oh, I didn't leave a gap. You can't get the staff. So don't forget your gap. And normally I'll put a quilting clip either side. When we did the video today for the lovely wristlet clutch bag, which was really nice. You have a look tomorrow when I'm on. I talk about it and I say I always do a start-stop. So a start. I think it's really funny that I don't listen to my own advice. So I always put a clip like here and here. So I know that's my start-stop. So start there, stop there. I didn't listen to my own advice, which is fine. We got a quick unpick, so it's fine. There we go. And ideally, that you'd want to lock that because it's going to split open a little bit. But if we're really careful, we'll be fine. So because we left the hole in, the zip open, it's going to be dead easy to turn through. Here we go. Always looks a bit of a muddle at this stage, doesn't it? You think, not sure. But persevere. Give it a little push and a poke. And of course we've left our gap somewhere in here. Here we go. There's the gap up the top. It's like the chimney stack. And get a nice blunt pair of scissors. Well, when I say blunt, I mean a rounded end pair of scissors. Well, blunt if you've got paper scissors, doesn't matter as long as it's rounded. And just poke that zip out either end, because sometimes it doesn't want to behave. So don't forget, you need to give this a really good press, seriously. It actually looks really nice when it's got a press, and it's nice and pressed. And just poke that out there. There we go. Come on, that's it. So there we are. So like I say, with a bit of a press, we've made it. Okay, you're going to fix this bit. And I think what I would do is I'll put the coat hanger in a sec, and I would just turn these over, and I would definitely just do a little stitch, and I'm quite happy to leave the coat hanger in that. So don't forget, we've got the pockets here to put our valuables in, and because now we've stitched it into the zip, it's going to keep whatever you want. You might want to put your lavender in there. Oh, it's delicious. Let's close that up. And then you've got the bottom zip there. Now obviously you're going to until that's had a nice press, and I'll show you the one I made because that looks really nice. I could do that a bit better. Anyway, so that closes up. Now that means that you've got a nice big area to put perhaps documents in. So if we bring the coat hanger in, let me just see if there's any comments about anything. Because oh, thanks, Mary. Yeah, do you know, it's a nice little thing to make, and then you can practice putting your zips in, because that's the one thing I think a lot of people worry about. And oh, Dolly says I'm frozen. It's a funny thing. I love it when people say you're frozen, because obviously I can't see that if I'm frozen. And actually it's quite warm in here, Dolly, so I'm all right. Julie, that's a beautiful craft. Do you know, it is a beautiful craft room. I am very lucky indeed. But obviously this is my work, so yeah, I am lucky. But you see, when I'm retired, I'll have a big playroom to play in. Don't tell John. I think he wants it as a train room. I know, don't. Let's have a look. Louise, you're sewing stocking advent calendars. It's stocking advent while listening to you. Oh, thanks, Louise. And I think everybody's saying, seems ages since you did a demo, Margaret. Yeah, I know. Well, I've had a funny couple of weeks really because because I was up at County Durham, and of course I was with all the lovely ladies from Craftiganza, and of course mainly they're paper crafters, you know, and last year they're a bit not sure. I don't know if I want to do stitching, and then when they finished, they were so honestly they were so proud of what they had done, and we did a little bit of red work, and I was absolutely thrilled because they were enjoying it. And it's a funny thing because here comes Millie, because when they came into the room they were really, you know, a bit uptight because it's like it's Craftiganza and they're all excited and they're seeing all their TV people and it's all very so they come into the room kind of like this with the shoulders up like this, and by the time they've left they're almost horizontal, they're sliding down their seats because they've been hand stitching and it's been really relaxing. Oh, Millie's gone. Are you going to come and say hello to the ladies, Millie? Here she comes. Hello, Millie. Can you get through? Hello, shall I bring you up so you can see? Come and say hello to the ladies. Come here. Have you? You've been outside. You're all cold. Oh, oh. She's getting fat, aren't you? It's too many biscuits. Anyway, there you go. Go on, down you go. Ugh, she's been outside. Oh, did you want to cuddle? There we go. Yes, so sorry, Margaret. I was talking about Craftiganza, and then I had to stay on to do some filming for product and all that sort of stuff, which I love to do. And we had a meeting, so my boss Sunny, and well, all of them really. We're all there having a meeting about stuff, you know, what we're going to do in the future and what products we're going to have, and has anybody got any bright ideas? And what do our ladies love? Well, of course, I know you love everything. So I daren't even tell you what's coming up in next year. Do you know what? It's awesome. Stick around. Now, look, while you were chatting, I don't know where she's gone now. She might have gone on my bed. Oh, no. Muddy Millie. Muddy paws. I'm going to get told off. I'll ignore it for the moment. So, like I say, that top bit, I would definitely be turning that over and hand stitching that. Crafty Sharon, I'll rewatch this as I sat down. Now, Sharon, according to the ladies, I was a little quiet at the beginning. First of all, I'm really tired, so it's a bit, you know. But secondly, I've moved my iPad. So now, because the sound goes in there, so hopefully, I know it's going to be fine. And I might have frozen halfway. So look, I popped that in while we were chatting. Now, what do you reckon, ladies? In fact, I might just put a little, in fact, let me put my clips in there. There we go. That's it. So that's it, done. I'm quite pleased with that. Are you? Not that you had a lot of involvement, just encouragement. But look, so we've got the pocket there. So when I looked at, oh gosh, what's the lady's name? We were only talking about her a minute ago. Diane. She had the picture showed like credit cards and things like that. So if you were going away, because we were burgled recently, and not in the house, thank goodness, just in all the garden sheds and everything. And so if you're going away, you might want to put some bits and bobs. And to quite honestly, if you had that way, nobody would know that there was a pocket on the other side, would they, if you popped a jumper over the top? So you can pop your bits in there, and then you've got this big zip here. And I know this coat hanger's got a piece going across, but it doesn't make any difference. You could still put stuff in there. I don't know what it might be. And at the end of the day, it makes a lovely soft covering for your jumpers and things. So I think it's really quite nice. Oh, she's off the bed. So she's getting told off. It's my fault. It's my fault, John. No, not yet. I'm just saying goodbye to the ladies.
Oh yeah, if dinner's over.
Excuse me, for dinner, what have we got? Moussaka. He doesn't like speaking to the camera. We've got moussaka. I remember it's special request. Well, it was a choice between that and lamb shanks. Quite like lamb shanks. I better go and get that. So there we are. There's our secret storage hanger. I really like the fabric on this one. I got the lavender in that, so that will make everything smell nice, won't it? So I hope you've enjoyed it. We've done about an hour, just over the hour, so I do apologise for rambling. And I'll see you tomorrow. So don't forget, I'm on at what time am I on? 10 and 3 with these 2 new bags, which I'm really pleased about, and they make up really quickly, and they're so quick to do. So it'll be lovely to see you all again. Me and Dave at it, doing a bit of sewing. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me, and have a lovely rest of your evening.